Hello guys and welcome back to another lovely video. Today we are going to be tier ranking every single book we have read in 2024. And we have 136 books to go over. And honestly, that's not all the books that I read. I did read the whole series of Junie B. Jones this year. It's like a rereading my childhood favorite books situation. But I'm just going to count them all as one. I picked one of my favorite covers, and we're going to go with that because I give them all 5 stars on nostalgia factor. So let's go over what we have for our tiers. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiers. I was originally going to do 5, but then I'm like, I feel like it'll just be like my rating, and that's not fun. And I'm not going to reference Goodreads, so we're going to go off of just the vibes of what I know now. We have our top tier, which is our 6-star, 7-star, 10-star Changed My Life tier. And it is titled OMG, Changed My Life. Then we have our next tier down, which is Love, Please Read. I would love for you to read it. It didn't change my life, but it was amazing. Next one down is We're Happy She's Here, Happy I Read It, Glad That We Experienced Her. Underneath that, we have What Is This? I Don't Know Her. This will be for books that I'm just like, what was that about? I read that. No recollection, baby. Underneath that is It's Just Fine. I don't really feel strongly. I remember it, but I don't have any strong feeling about it. Then we have Nope, Get the Fuck Out. I did not like it. It was not good. Do not recommend. And then our bottom tier is the books that I just should have DNF'd. I pushed through for some unknown reason when I shouldn't have. But let me get a Diet Coke because we will be here for a while. Also, this is for sure a me issue, but I hate it when people are doing tier ranking videos and they don't do the stuff in the order that it is and they're jumping around. We're going to just do it in this order. It's not the order that I read them in. It's the order that they're here. And let us begin. And I'm not going to give a super in-depth review on everything, so otherwise we'd be here for 6.5 days. So the first book we have here is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. This book is a Ted Bundy murders story, but it's told from the point of view of the victims, and it never names him as a murderer, as like the bad guy. It just calls him the defendant. And we are going to pop that directly into Love, Please Read. I absolutely loved it. It was beautifully written. Great. Another thing is when I'm putting them in the tiers, I'm not organizing them in any certain way. I cannot be bothered. Okay. Next, we have Meeting Millie, which is a sapphic romance based in Oxford about these two friends turned lovers. And we're going to put that in Happy She Is Here. I am glad that I read it. It was great, but didn't really change my life, and I'm not like rushing to recommend it. Next, we have the first book in the Selection series. This was requested for me to read by my friend Shanna, and I'm sadly gonna have to put that under Just Fine. It is kind of like a dystopian story. It's about these people in different tiers of society, and they're like fighting to marry the prince. It ends on a cliffhanger, and I didn't care to keep it going on with the series. It's just fine. We did read Lovelight Farms, and who is that by? B.K. Borison. That's also going in Just Fine. I am interested to continue that series. This was like a Christmas romance. This one's based in like winter, then there's the next one's spring, then summer, then fall, I believe. I didn't really love the characters of book 1, but I know I looked to see who the characters of the other 3 books are, and they are characters that I liked better in the interconnected standalone series. So it's gonna go under Just Fine. Next, we have The One That Got Away with Murder by Trish Lundy. And I think that this is an incredibly underrated YA thriller. Everybody's like, woo, for A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I think that this is better. I'm going to pop this under Love, Please Read. I really, really, really enjoyed that book, and I would love for more people to read it. Next, we have Ward D by Frida McFadden. This is a classic popcorn thriller, just bam, 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 about a girl working in a psych ward. This one has more blood than most Frida books, so I am going to put that under Happy She's Here. I'm glad that I read it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a favorite. Next, we have The Fury by Alex. I don't know really how to say his last name. Michaelides by Alex. And I guessed the twist of this book very early on, maybe like in the first 2 or 3 chapters. And I'm going to put this under nope, get the fuck out. I did not like this book. I don't think I should have DNF'd it, but I did not like it. Next, we have The Coworker by Miss Frida McFadden. I feel like this book in Facebook groups is notoriously hated. I didn't hate it. I thought it was something. It was a book I read. And this is going to go under just fine. It is not a favorite of hers, but it was fine. You know what I mean? Next, we have Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks, and this is a romance book about an undertaker and a girl in, I think, Scotland, and the girl is from Texas, and she's from Austin, so it's a lot of, like, Austin references, because I live in Austin, and she moves there to kind of, like, avoid what has happened in her life, and she thinks she's moving next to, I think, like, a bed and breakfast, and she ends up moving next to a graveyard. So I did enjoy that one. We're going to put that under Happy She's Here. I'm not, like, itching for others to read it, but I did enjoy it. Next, we have Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, and this is a thriller about a girl who everybody thinks she murdered her best friend, and it has, like, a podcast element, and I absolutely love this. This is, I think, one of my favorite thrillers that I read this year, so I am going to pop this up to, oh my god, changed my life, because, like I said, that's a top thriller for me this year. It is so, so, so fun. Next up, we have got Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, and I've read, I think, a couple of her books this year, and I did really enjoy this one. This is about a handful of girls who were foster siblings in a less than ideal home, and when that foster home bones are discovered on the property, they're all called back to figure out what happened. I'm going to put this under Happy She's Here. It was kind of slow, and it was very much so a mystery, not a thriller. Next, we have The Women by Kristen Hanna, which is a historical fiction book about the Vietnam War. I've read 2 Kristen Hannas this year, and I'm going to admit I'm not, like, her biggest fan. I'm not, like, obsessed with her as many others are, but I am happy to have read it. I don't think it was just fine. I do remember it. I'm gonna put this under that I'm happy she is here. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Next, we have No One Can Know by Kate Ellis Marshall, and I'm going to give this 2 stars. I really don't remember what it is, but I do remember that this book is a reason I decided to never read this author again. So I'm going to probably put that under should have DNF'd, because I will not pick up another one of this author's books after reading 2 books, giving them both low ratings. I just can't be bothered. Whereas Alex Michaelides, you will see I've given another book I've read by him a higher rating, so I'm not, like, thinking I should have DNF'd it. Next, we have Don't Want You Like a Best Friend. I don't remember who this is by, but it's over here. By Emma R. Elbin. And this is a sapphic Regency romance. And I realized I just don't really like Regency anything. It was not, like, my favorite book. I gave it 3 stars. I wasn't, like, mad at it. It had some tropes that I found they made me a little uncomfy. So I'm going to put this under just fine. I'm not mad that I've read it. I don't want to, like, get it off my shelf, but I'm not, like, woo about it, you know? Next, we've got The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and this is the, like, epitome of a it's just fine book. It was all over Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram, all over everywhere for its Cutie Pie Honey Bunch cover at the fall time. And this is a little spicy little romance about this small town, and yeah, there's not really much to say about it. Next, we have Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, which is the second book in the Boys of Tommen series. I really liked Keeping 13. It touched on a lot of quite serious issues. So I'm going to pop that one under Love It, Please Read, which is going to be kind of, I think I actually have to put it under Happy She's Here, because I liked that one better than the first book, Binding 13, which we will get to later on. And I don't think, I'm going to put it under Love It, Please Read, but Binding 13 is probably only going to go in Happy She's Here. Next, we have probably my most controversial opinion, and that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I thought this book was horrible. I thought it was abysmal. I thought that it was pretty much just plagiarism. and I should have DNF'd it. I hated it. I hated it. Next, we have The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I'm going to pop this one under Love, Please Read. I really enjoyed this thriller. I feel like sometimes books hit me at the right time, and I remember reading that one when I was feeling kind of slumpy, and it got me good, as they do. Next, we have Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce, and I really loved this book. This is a YA romance about a girl who actually just picked up the second book, whose dad owns a board game store. And if you don't know, I'm a board game gal and a D&D gal, and she basically gets roped into playing D&D and discovering her nerdiness, okay? I'm going to put this under Love, Please Read. I thought it was a great YA romance. I very much so enjoyed it. Next, we have A Welcome Reunion by Lucinda Berry. This is the novella that follows after A Perfect Child. I'm not going to say much because it'll spoil the other book, but I thought it was just fine. I tend to feel that way about novellas. I don't think they're very good most of the time. I need more to really absorb the story. Next, we have Expiration Dates by Rebecca Searle, who has become an auto-author for me this year. This book is about a girl who every time she dates somebody or meets somebody, a man, she is a straight woman, she gets a little paper that has the person's name and a length of time, whether it's 3 weeks, 12 months, 4 years, whatever. And that length of time is how long she is going to be with that person. All of her books that I've read involve magical realism. And until one day she gets a paper in the mail, or gets a paper after meeting a guy that just has a name, no time. And it's about that situation. I'm going to put this under Happy She's Here. It's, I think, my least favorite of her books, but I did quite enjoy it. Next, we have The Rule Book by Sarah Adams, which is book 2 in the cheat sheet and then the rule book duology. Sports romance. They are, I think it's a second chance romance if I'm remembering correctly. And I enjoyed it. I'm going to put it under Happy She's Here. It's not like striking any crazy thoughts in my mind. Next we have Can I Say by Travis Barker. This is Travis Barker's autobiography. It's about his life basically from before Blink-182, his time in Blink-182, his plane crash, his struggles with drugs and alcohol and becoming sober in that whole situation. And I'm going to actually put this under Love It, Please Read. I thought it was fascinating as somebody who is a big Blink-182 fan, so do recommend. Next we have Tiny Pretty Things. I don't remember who that's by. This is a, I guess, mystery about these ballerinas dealing with racism, eating disorders, a bunch of bullying, situations like that. It was just fine. It was fine. Then we have Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. This is also going to fall under just fine. I did guess the twist of this at 18%. It is a thriller about a bunch of siblings where their dad kind of just like left the family and the mom passes away. They're cleaning out the mom's house. They find a VHS tape and discover a crime on it that kind of implicates their parents and about what they want to do. Next, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. Absolutely, oh my god, changed my life. That is my favorite Emily Henry book that I have ever read. You see her? She's right there. I love it. It is about our main characters, Miles and Daphne. You know I love a book if I know their names. That's wild. And Miles was dating a girl named Petra, and Daphne was engaged to a guy named Peter. Peter and Petra are best friends. They go away to Peter's bachelor party and come back basically wanting to date each other. So Daphne and Miles end up becoming roommates and eventually falling in love. We have Blue Sisters by Coco Mellers, and this book is so hard because I did give it 4 stars and I did really enjoy the ending, but the journey to get there was painful. I did not really like a good portion of this book, and so I'm really struggling. Like, I thought about DNFing it a lot of times, but I did end up enjoying the ending, so I think I'm going to just pop it under just fine for that reason. Then we read This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of getting them a little bit confused. I'm going to have to look up what this one is about. This summer will be different. Let's take a little peeky poo. Is this the one at Prince Edward Island is mainly what I'm getting at. Yes. Okay. This book is about our main gal, and she goes to, and she's like in her friend's wedding. Her friend rushes back home to Prince Edward Island. She follows her there, and she has, I guess, in the past slept with her best friend's brother. I'm going to put this under Happy She's Here. I did enjoy this book. It's not like a favorite of mine, though. We read This Winter by Alice Osmond, which is like a winter novella about the characters of Heartstopper. That's also going to be Happy She's Here. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This one I feel like was pretty like controversial with people. I feel like a lot of people did not like this, and I found this book to be more heartbreaking and sad than I did scary or mysterious, and it made me cry, which like doesn't happen with thrillers. That's weird. I really enjoyed it. This was the first, because I've read all of his thrillers, his first one featuring a male protagonist, which also is very interesting. And his book coming out next year is historical. I'm very intrigued. But he basically, when he was a kid, him and his friend were camping in the backyard, and his friend went missing, and now he's back living in the house, and weird things start happening. What happened to the friend, we do not know, and we work to find out. That is going to be under Happy She's Here. I did enjoy it. We have The Housemaid is Watching, which is the third and final book in the Housemaid trilogy. And I know so many people hated this book. So many people hated it and didn't think it was necessary. I agree. Necessary? Absolutely not. We did not need it. I didn't even really want it, but I really liked it. She's Going Over. Love it. Please read. I liked it a lot. Then we have A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, and the only thing I can say nice about this book is the cover. Should have DNF'd. Next, we've got The Match by Sarah Adams. I'm a Sarah Adams stan. I don't really like spicy romances, and hers are very, like, closed door for the most part. This is about a girl who has epilepsy, and she has a guide, or like not a guide dog, a service dog. And her job is matching dogs to people, and she is working to match a dog with this single dad's daughter who also has epilepsy, and it is their story. Love it. Nope, it didn't change my life, but we're going to love it. Please read her. We got The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, another stellar book. Absolutely loved it, loved it, loved it. We have Anna, our main character. I love that she has pink hair. Her life's kind of crazy. She's like a pothead. She's just barely getting by. Turns out she, like, basically as a scam married her, like, best friend's brother in college to, like, get housing. And she thought they were divorced. Turns out they're not. And she has to go to his rich family's private island to pretend to be his girlfriend. I am going to put this under love it, please read. I really, really enjoyed that one. 5-Star Stranger by Kat Tang. This book is so stupid. Should have DNF'd it. It has such low ratings on Goodreads. I got it as a book of the month. I like the idea of it where this person, you can basically hire him to be whatever you need to be. Your best man, a date, bring him home for the holidays so your family doesn't nag you. And for this one woman, for years, he's been being paid to pretend to be this girl's father. Great concept. Horrible execution. We'll find more of those. We have The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. I loved this book. People, I feel like, have not been loving it as much as The Wishing Game, and I didn't love it as much as The Wishing Game, but I did really like it. We have our main characters. This is an LGBTQ story, and I think I did a video back at Bookmas of reacting to 1-star reviews of my 5-star reads, and all of the bad reviews on this book are people who, like, are mad that it's LGBTQ. But it's very, I guess, inspired by Chronicles of Narnia. I've never seen and or read that, so that means nothing to me. But it was really good. Next, we have The Love of My Afterlife. This book is giving, just like Heaven, the Reese Witherspoon movie. We have our main character in this book, and she basically chokes on a microwavable hamburger and dies. She goes to heaven, and she's basically in the heaven reception area where this girl, Merritt, greets her, is telling her all about heaven, and then this man shows up who has, like, a near-death experience, and he and our main character speak, and she's like, oh my god, love at first sight, love him. And Merritt makes a deal with her that she'll send her back to Earth for 10 days, but she has to find that guy and get him to kiss her. I loved it. We're putting it under love it, please read. We have Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca. This is about a girl. This is meant, like, there's, like, you have to suspend your disbelief. Is that the phrase in this book? But it's about this girl. She moves to this town, and she moves into a haunted house, and the whole town is haunted. She thinks it's like a gimmick until things start happening. I loved it. Love it. Please read. We've got Ghost Camera by Darcy Coates. It's going under Should Have DNF'd. This book is very improperly marketed, this edition of it at least, because I did not pick it up knowing that it was a collection of short stories. The premise of Ghost Camera, because that's all that's on the cover, is that it's a ghost camera. So good. Basically, the premise is this girl is at a wedding, and she's in, like, this, like, bell tower at the wedding, and she finds this, like, old Polaroid camera. She takes a picture with it, and in the picture is ghosts, and every time she takes a picture, they get closer to her, and it's great. The idea of it's great. The book itself, not so much. Next, we have The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rekulik, and this book is another one that I think has gotten pretty bad reviews because of how spooky Hidden Pictures was. As you can see, it's another favorite of mine. Hidden Pictures at the store at, like, Barnes & Noble is in the horror section, whereas I went into The Last One at the Wedding having seen some of Jason's stories stating that this book is a mystery, not a thriller. And so I went into it with the knowledge of it being a mystery, so I think I was less disappointed than the people who were expecting the same energy as Hidden Pictures. So I'm going to put this under Happy She's Here. I enjoyed it. Next, we have Sleep Tight by J.K. Markhurt. This is a detective book about this girl whose dad basically put away a notorious serial killer, and the night of his execution, her dad gets killed, I think, and then her daughter goes missing, and it's about finding this copycat killer. It was fine. It was another one that was put under they labeled it as horror for book of the month, and it was a detective mystery. Come on. Next, we have Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. This is also going to go under just fine. This is a sapphic Christmas romance. I feel like my opinion is kind of controversial. I thought that Charlotte was unbearable. It's Charlotte and Brighton, and they were engaged. Brighton left her at the altar, and they haven't really spoken since. Due to being friends with people and not knowing that they were siblings, they end up together for Christmas, and Charlotte's a bitch. It was fine. We read The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I enjoyed this book. Frida she gets me. So I'm not looking, as you can probably tell from, like, things like Blue Sisters being under just fine, and you'll probably see more things like this throughout, I don't like a well-written book. I don't. I have about 3 brain cells on a good day, and I'm constantly miserable and reading to escape, and I don't want it to feel like school. So I know her books aren't written well, but that's what I like. Worst Case Scenario by TJ Newman. This was like a book about a plane crash, and it crashed into, like, a chemical lab, and I didn't think it was, I'm gonna probably put it under nope, get the fuck out. I think I gave it a 2-star. I did not pick up the physical copy. I read it for my book club, and I did not really like it. Next, we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. We'll put this under Happy She's Here. I'm not, like, a big history gal. This is about World War II. It's about 2 sisters and how they handle what's going on during, like, Nazi times. I don't know where that cut me off, so I'm going to back up a little. So The Christmas Fix is going under Love, Please Read. I quite enjoyed it. It is about our main character, Catalina King, and she and her brother work on, like, basically HGTV. And her network wants her to do, like, some sort of Christmas special. And so she wants to go fix up this town where she has already basically done, like, what's that makeover show, home makeover show that they used to do that was like, move that bus? She basically did that for some family in this town, and now the town has been hit by a hurricane, and they need help fixing it up before Christmas time because the town is called Mary, Connecticut, and their biggest business is done during Christmas time. And so she wants to go fix it up, but the town manager, the mayor, I don't know, doesn't want her there. So she cons her way in and does the do. Next, I listened to this is my one audiobook of the year, to Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. It was part of that Amazon collection of stories, and this book sucked. Should have DNF'd it. We have The Housemaid's Wedding, which is definitely a just fine. I didn't need the story, but I read it and it was fine. We have Awake by Natasha Preston. I really loved this. YA thriller. It's about a cult. Pretty much is very like culty energy. There is this girl, and she basically doesn't remember anything that happened before the age of 6. And then she starts remembering. Love it. Please read. We've got The Hunger Games. I've never read The Hunger Games until now, and I'm putting this under, oh my god, changed my life. Loved the first Hunger Games book. I was sobbing. Everything with Rue is even sadder in the book. And I'm not going to delve into The Hunger Games. I'm sure you know what that's about. We've read book 1 in The Naturals. That's going under Love It. Please read. It's a very fun YA mystery thriller, and it's essentially always described as this, but it is what fits best. Criminal Minds, but make it high schoolers. Again, I read all my Judy B. Jones books. We're happy she's here. I read them all. I still love them. I love that bitch, period. I read The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson. I think I'm going to put this under Love, Please Read, but with caution. It is a very dark book, and it's only 4 chapters, which is wild. But it is told in, like, the present time of a girl being interviewed at the police station, and then the past time of her going over what happened from her abduction by the butterfly collector. There's that. We have got Down Amongst the Sticks and Bones. I'm going to pop this under, should have DNF'd probably, because I've decided after that book to DNF the Wayward Children series. Next we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. We're going to put that under, oh my god, changed my life. We have this book. It's about a girl named Evelyn, and she wants this, specifically this reporter Monique, to write the story of her life and her 7 husbands, and you go through, each chapter is about a different husband and their story. We have got Final Girls by Riley Sager. I'm not getting rid of it, even though I did not like this book at all and think it is in fact his worst book, and I probably should have DNF'd it, but I love Riley Sager, so we keep her. This book is about these 3 girls who were all the final girl in some sort of massacre, and then one of them dies in a mysterious way. Next, we have The Dinner List by Rachel Searle, and I'm going to pop this under Love, Please, Please Read. This book is such a fun concept. It is about our main character. Her name was just on the tip of my tongue. I don't know. It's about our main character, and basically, like I said, all Rebecca Searle books that I've read have magical realism, and basically, she, in college, her best friend asked her if you could have dinner with 5 people dead or alive, who would they be? And she said them, and then she arrives to her 30th birthday party, and they're all there, from her dad who has passed away. Marilyn Monroe is there randomly, like, one of her, like, first love is there, and it's a story as to, like, why she needed closure from these people. So, I loved it. We have The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, changed my life. It's one of my favorite books by him. We have this story of our main gal, and essentially, during a summer camp, all of the other girls in her cabin went missing, besides her. And you discover that. We've got The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I'm going to put this under Happy She Is Here. I'm glad I read it. It is about our main character, who is a person who is administering the tattoos in Auschwitz concentration camps, and how they tried to make something good out of something horrible. Next we have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This is also going under Happy She's Here. I absolutely loved this book. However, I didn't love the ending, so it's not like a love please read, but I did like it. Next we have Daisy Jones and the Six. This is going under, it's just fine. I don't get the hype, and maybe it's because I did not listen to it on audio. I don't like audiobooks. I'm trying really hard to like them, but I just really don't, and so I did read it, and the whole time I'm like, I don't get the hype. I have no interest in watching the show. I know so many people are like, oh my god, I wish they were a real band. I literally could not care less. So, it's just fine. Next we have Past Perfect Life, and I don't know her. I don't remember her. It's gonna have to go there. We read The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. I'm going to pop this under Love, Please, Please Read. I really enjoyed this. We have our main characters, Hannah and Christopher. They're husband and wife. Hannah is a nurse. Christopher is a doctor. My name's Hannah, and my husband's name's Christopher, so had to read it. But basically, they've been struggling to get pregnant. Hannah has an inhospitable womb. And a neglected, abused child comes into the emergency room, and they decide to foster her, and she's not what you would think. Following that, we have The Surrogate Mother, which is a Frida McFadden book that was just fine. I didn't really love this one. It is about this couple. They also are struggling to get pregnant when her, assistant offers to be her surrogate. We've got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That one's also just fine. I'm not going to give it more airtime than it already gets. We've got Binding 13. I'm happy she's here. I'm happy to have read it. These books, I am absolutely not in the camp where I think that these books are worthy of their length. I do not think they need to be nearly 900 pages. Come on. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix is going under Love, Please Read. I also think it is the best cover to ever exist. In this book, we have got a group of friends where after one night of skinny dipping, one of them starts acting really, really bizarre. We've got Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Love it. Please read. It is about a girl who starts house sitting for a very fancy hotel in New York City, and some crazy shit starts happening. Next we have The Lost by Natasha Preston. This is going to go under Happy She's Here. Natasha Preston is infamous for her books having absolutely god-awful endings, and Awake did not feel that way to me, but The Lost absolutely did. This is about a group of it's about two friends who get abducted and brought to kind of this underground compound type thing, and are being tormented along with other groups of a bunch of other captives in a group, and it's horrifying. We have got The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke. It is just fine. I feel like that whole series is probably, am I going to still go through the whole series? Yes, because I'm doing a series. If you missed episode 1, it was part of Bookmas, and if you missed Bookmas, go check it out. Barely any of the videos are holiday related, so they're great anytime. Put them on in the background. But in that video, I made 2 recipes from the book because the books have recipes in it. So I'm going to be doing the whole series, but the book is just fine. It's a small town cozy mystery. Nothing to really write home about. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I don't know her. Someone We Know by Shirley Lapina. I also don't know her. Before the Coffee Gets Cold. That is just fine. I did find that book to be quite a disappointment. If you do not know the concept, basically there is a coffee shop in a small town in Japan, and there is a seat that a ghost sits at, and whenever the ghost gets up, people have the opportunity to sit in the seat, get a special cup of coffee, and visit anybody who has visited the coffee shop before, and in the past, in the future, whenever, and speak with them before their coffee gets cold. That's the concept. It had the opportunity to be really emotional. It's also translated, so I do sometimes feel translated work. Maybe that's the reason, but it was just fine. Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren. Should have DNF'd. This book sucked. In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. We're going to pop her up to Oh My God, Changed My Life. My friend Kane suggested this book, and it is about this girl, again, magical realism. There's her and her best friend are the main characters. She's very type A, and her other friend's kind of a free spirit. And basically, one day she wakes up, and she's 5 years in the future with a ring on her hand, and the man in her bed is not her boyfriend. She's like, where am I? What's going on? And whenever she goes back to sleep, she wakes up back in her reality, and then spends these next 5 years trying to figure out what is going to happen. Very good. Very emotional. Home Before Dark is also going to go under Oh My God, Changed My Life. This is a haunted house Riley Sager book, and it was spooky, and it took me forever to read because I'm a scared little bitch. Good Girl, Bad Blood, also going to go under just fine. I liked it less than I liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I didn't hate it. I gave it 3 stars. It was literally fine. Heartstopper Volume 5. Love her. I love the whole Heartstopper series. Can't really get into it because it's book 5. One by One by Frida McFadden. I just read this, and this was another just fine. I feel like Frida's books are either like a real hit or like a real just fine. It's either like woo or meh. This is about a group of friends. There's 6 of them, and they're going to be going on to a fancy resort. The car breaks down. They're traveling through the woods, and their friends start getting knocked out one by one. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. We're going to pop this under Nope, Get the Fuck Out. I did not like it. It's my least favorite Emily Henry book. It's like about these, I like don't even want to talk about it because I just don't care. It's about these friends, these like people that are friends, but are they in love? You're going back in time to their different vacations, and then they reconnect after years. It was just not good. The Collective by Allison something. I'm happy she's here. I did really like this book. It is about a mother whose child is, I think, killed, and she ends up on like the dark web in this cult of like called The Collective of like these scorned women who have reasons for wanting to get revenge. The Maid by Nita Prose. Should have DNF'd. I gave it 1 star. I hated that book. We've got Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This one was just fine. You have this girl, and she's trying to get back home, and there's like her friend had gotten killed. There's a murderer on the loose, and for some reason she takes a ride with a stranger to get back home. And can she survive the night? We will find out. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I loved it. Love it, please read. This is another super cute YA romance. We've got Running Wild by K.A. Tucker. I'm also going to put this under loved it, you should please read, but you have to read the whole series. This is like, there is The Simple Wild, Wild at Heart, Wild Forever, Forever Wild? Forever Wild, and then Running Wild. And Running Wild is about a side character. The other books are about Kala and Jonah's story, and Running Wild is about a side character, Marie. She is the vet, and you fucking hate her in the other books, but you learn to love her in her book. One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole is also going to go under love. Please, please, please read. This is a book, a thriller, a psychological thriller, I guess I would say, about a girl with dissociative identity disorder. And I think it is one of the few pieces of media that doesn't do the condition a disservice. All right. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Should have DNF'd. I hated that book as well. The Last Chance Library. This is going right on up to Oh My God, Changed My Life. I don't hear anybody besides me talking about it, and I will not stop ever, ever, ever. It's about our main character named June Jones, which I love that that's her name, as you can see by my love of Ginny B. Jones, but she basically takes over her mother's job after her mom passes away of cancer at the library, and this is based in England, or the UK, I think England, and the library is being threatened to be closed down, and it's a cast of kooky characters working together to save the library, and I sobbed reading this book. Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I should have a DNF. Hated that. Was not good. I didn't like it at all. I didn't really like the first one. It's a long story, but I read the second one. Moving on. The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. It was just fine. People say it's like a Kylo and Rey fanfic, which kind of fucked with me in the head because I don't think that Adam Driver is good looking. So the whole time I thought that the main male character was not cute. So there was that. I read The Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan. That was also just fine. It is based in, I believe, Scotland, right? Or Ireland? Scotland? I think Scotland. And it's about a girl named Carmen, and she is basically down on her luck and is trying to save a bookstore. And that's basically that. We have got The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to pop her under love, please read. It's about our main character, where growing up at her house, that door to the basement was always locked. And you know this from the synopsis. Her dad was killing people down there. And it's crazy. We've got The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chen. I'm going to pop this under just fine. It has a very unlikable protagonist, and I do not like unlikable protagonists. And basically the synopsis, we have our main chick, and she is a single mom, and it's like a dystopian book. She leaves her baby home alone for some reason and gets caught and ends up having to go to this school for good mothers to be taught how to be a better parent. We've got The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I'm going to put under love, please read. This is a friends to lovers story. She is just your average everyday gal. He is in the NFL, and they've been in love with each other for a while. We have got, this is like can't even tell what the title is. It is a graphic novel that I read. I'm going to put under what is this? I don't know her. I don't really remember this book at all. We've got One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. That is going to go under Oh My God, Changed My Life. This is about a girl where her and her mom were planning on going on this trip to Italy. It was a trip, they were like going to basically replicate a trip that her mom had taken in her youth, and her mom ends up passing away right before the trip, and she goes on the trip anyway, and her second day there, she wakes up and she's basically back in time, and her mom is there as like a 20-something-year-old, and she's able to connect with her mom on a different level. We've got White Bird, which is a graphic novel about World War II. Put that under Happy She's Here. We've got The Dawn of Yang Chen, which is the third book in the Avatar Chronicles, and it was not good, but like I had to read it to continue the series, and I'm putting that under no, get the fuck out. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is book 1 in the Part of Your World series. I don't remember the characters' names. I liked it enough, and I'm going to put that under Happy She's Here. We've got The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich, my favorite book of the year. I won't shut up about it. Absolutely has changed my life. This is a dystopian book about a huge cast of characters, a bunch of different points of view, and basically it is like present day America, but with a twist. One morning, everybody over the age of 22 wakes up to a wooden box on their front doorstep with a string inside. They don't know what this means, but they soon find out that the string indicates how long their life is going to be. And with this, you see how that affects all these people. Like, one of them is married, one of them is single, one of them is a doctor, somebody's a politician. And you see how these strings impact life. We've got The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark. This book was just fine. It is about a con artist woman, and I know that that's not like a favorite trope of most people. I thought it was fine. How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Should have DNF'd. This book sucked. The concept was so good about like a scary haunted puppet, but the execution was horrible. We have got Hollow, which is a graphic novel about the story of Sleepy Hollow, and we're going to put that under Happy She's Here. We have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which is about our main character, Mika Moon, and she is a witch, and witches kind of have to hide who they are from basically everybody, but she starts a YouTube channel, and people need her help. And it's a very nice found family story. I'm going to put this under Happy She Is Here. Next we have My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. And I loved this book. I'm putting this under Love Her, Please Read. We have our main character, Cassie. She's a down on her luck artist, and she ends up finding a Craigslist for this really nice apartment for like $200 a month. Little does she know, her roommate is a vampire. They communicate through letters. It is just so cute. I loved it. Read it in one day. We've got Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. Happy She's Here. I think this is quite a fun series. I just finished book 2, which we'll get to when we get to. Ask for Andrea by Noelle Illy. I'm going to pop this under Love Her, Please Read. This is a book about 3 girls who were all killed by the same bad guy, and it is the story told from their point of view after they're already dead, which is very interesting. Okay, we have 12th Night, which is a graphic novel. I'm going to put it under It's Just Fine. Same with Dungeon Roll Call. I didn't really love that one either. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia Fairies. I did make it like halfway through this book, so I still counted it as a read book, even though I did DNF her. I hated that book. I thought it was not good. Check-In Mate by Allie Hazelwood. We're going to pop this under Love It, Please Read. It is a YA romance about some chess players, which I loved. We've got Adelaide by, who wrote this? Genevieve Wheeler. This is a very, very heavy, sad book, and I'm going to put it under love it, please read. It's about a girl dealing with a lot of thoughts of not being good enough, and there's a lot of mention of suicide and such, so there's that. We have Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. Don't have a single recollection of that book. Cloud Girls by Lisa Harding is going to go under just fine. Also a very sad book about, I believe this one was about like human trafficking. Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. I'm going to put it under nope, get the fuck out. It's about a group of people where there was some sort of tragedy when they were in school. And the group of them who survived are getting back together. We have got Fourth Wing. I'm going to put that under, it's just fine. I'm going to put her under happy she's here. I am happy that I read it, and I liked everything about the book besides the romance. So we'll pop her up there. Catching Fire, I'm also going to put under happy she's here. Even when it comes to the Hunger Games movies, I really love the first one, and the first one 10 out of 10, and the other ones are like a 7. So makes sense that Catching Fire would be under happy she's here. Meet Me Under the Mistletoe by Jenny Bayless. I'm going to put that also under happy she is here. We've got our main character Nori, and it's like a holiday, like it's mainly about her and her friends getting married. They're staying at this mansion, and she has a secret crush on the gardener, you know, but it's really cute. Happy Place by Emily Henry. It was just fine. It's again one of my least favorite Emily Henrys. We've got The Last Word by Taylor Adams. Nope, should have DNF'd this book. It was not good. And the only reason I did not give it a 1-star review on Goodreads is because the premise of this book is about a girl who gives a book a 1-star review and then the author hunts her down. So as you can see, we couldn't risk it. We have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is another happy she is here. This girl's mom and parents, I think, own like a resort, and they want her to take over. She doesn't really want to situation. We got Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I loved this book. Please, please, please read it. We have our main character, and she is struggling with facial blindness. Something happens, and she ends up with facial blindness. She's like, didn't grow up with it. The only issue is that she's a portrait artist, and she has a competition coming up, and she can't see faces. It's about her struggles with life dealing with this illness. Next, we have Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. Hello. We're going to pop this under Happy She Is Here. Love Sarah Adams. This is the second book in the When in Rome trilogy, and the third book is coming out. It's like Beg, Borrow, Steal, I think. But I liked it. I didn't love it. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez is going right up to the top of Changed My Life. I loved this book. We have Bree, our main gal. Justin, I think is the guy's name. They're both doctors in the same hospital, vying for the same position. They write letters to each other, clearly like a letter writing situation. It has a lot of really good anxiety representation. Loved it. Things We Hide from the Light is book 2 in the Knock 'Em Out series. I'm also happy she is here. I just finished that. A lot of pink in a row. And I thought it was quite good. 3 Swedish Mountain Men. This was just fine. This is like somebody was talking about these Lily Gold books, so I was like, I need to be in the know. And I read it, and it is a reverse harem romance. And there's that. Got The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I loved this book. I did not read the first one, I will be honest. And since like I already read the second one, I probably won't go back to the first one. But this is something that pisses me off with Book of the Month, when they have one of the picks be like a second in the series and it's not like explicitly stated. But this is about like a reality dating TV show, which is my kryptonite in life. So there's that. The Housemaid's Secret. I think that one was just fine. I didn't love book 2 in the series, so we'll put that there. The 7-Year Slip. I am happy she is here. However, it is not one of my favorite romance books of all time. I think it is good. It is about a girl who is living in her aunt's apartment after her aunt died, and she knows her aunt's apartment is magical, and you slip 7 years into the past. Then we've got The Wishing Game. Love it. Please read. Very, very good little fantasy book. The Gift by Frida McFadden. This book is not good, but I'm putting it under Happy She's Here because I thought it was so funny. It made me laugh out loud. We've got When I'm Dead by Hannah Morrissey. This is also a detective mystery. I'm happy she's here. I did enjoy it. We are almost to the end. We got The Stranger Upstairs. I don't know her. I couldn't tell you a single thing. The Stranger Upstairs and The Family Upstairs are 2 books where they're the same book in my head. So there's that. You Again. I loved this book. I'm putting it under love it. Please read. It has bad reviews, but I liked it, so maybe I have bad taste. And that this whole thing, you should just read the opposite of what I say. But this is about these 2 people, and they keep running into each other. The first time, they have a really bad, like, first impression of each other because they are sleeping with the same gal. And then eventually they spark up a friendship and go on from there. A December to Remember by Jenny Bayless. This is going up to Love It, Please Read, my favorite Christmas read of the year. It is about 3 sisters where their father passes away. And for their whole life, they only really spent summers together. And now they're forced to come together to do these stupid tasks that their dad set up in order for them to get closer. And then finally, we have Let Him In by William Friend. This is gonna go under just fine. This book had so many, like, good things going for it. It's about this dad whose wife died, and he has these daughters, and they wake up one night and scared in the middle of the night, and they're twins, and they wake him up, and they're like, Daddy, there's a man at the end of our bed. Very good premise of spooky stuff happening, but it was just like every conclusion was not satisfying. So overall, it was just fine. That's it, guys. Those are the books I read this year. That's how I feel about them. Thank you for joining in on this long journey, and I'll see you next year for another tier ranking. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you think any of my takes are really, like, wild? Let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!